Hey everyone, Renee here. I've got my updated summer skincare morning routine for you, just sharing with you some of the things that I've been using and testing out over the past few months. So my skin has gone through a lot of changes recently, and my skincare routine has also changed quite a bit to accommodate that. And a lot of it really does have to do with the difference in my lifestyle now. My skin is actually more balanced than I can remember it being for a really long time. It's very normal. There's not really that much of a variance of my skin condition from day to day because I am still spending a lot of my time indoors. My environment, for the most part, has been pretty stable, which has made my skin really stable and happy too. The other factor is when I am outdoors, 2/3 of my face is covered in a mask, which is really kind of a closed-off environment that gets really quite humid. I mean, it's already humid enough outside, but it gets even more musty in there. So I actually really like to limit the amount of layers that I use, and I'm not needing that much additional moisture right now. So everything has kind of switched to being lighter than I've ever needed for my skin before. So I've given my skin a good water rinse. That's how I cleanse my skin in the morning. I don't use a cleanser. I haven't done so since I was a teenager. My skin is fine without a morning cleanser, but if you're someone who feels you need one, then by all means use one that is very gentle, preferably non-foaming, neutral pH. First step after cleansing for me, you know the drill, is my vitamin C serum. This is pretty much just a standard in my morning skincare routine and has been for years. I definitely have a preference for 15% L-ascorbic acid. Over the past few months, these are the two that I've been trying out and really enjoying. They're actually both a 15% ascorbic acid serum, but they're actually really different. C Glow from Geek and Gorgeous is seriously impressive. It is a very simple, targeted vitamin C formula. This also has ferulic acid and vitamin E for that antioxidant trifecta that is so powerful, and this also contains ethoxydiglycol, which allows this serum to use less water. And of course, water is what makes ascorbic acid oxidize faster. So this helps just slow it down so that it can stay potent for longer. Texturally, it's really lightweight, absorbs, dries down, doesn't leave any kind of stickiness or anything like that. In fact, you know, it just disappears. Your skin feels really smooth, and I feel this would really suit people who have normal to oily skin. The Wish Trend formula is a more robust formula. It's less like targeted. This has a lot more going on in it, but also this is a gentler formula. This also has a higher pH than the C Glow, so it's gentler on your skin. If you have sensitive skin and you usually feel like you have a hard time tolerating a lot of L-ascorbic acid serums because the pHs are usually so low, you will probably have a better and easier time with this. Also, texturally, it's really beautiful. It's so hydrating. It sits in a base of sea buckthorn water, or in K-Beauty, it's also known as vitamin tree water. You know, it's just so full of antioxidants and vitamins to support the vitamin C. I use a few drops and press it into my skin. This is lightweight, it absorbs really fast, it's hydrating on the skin, it feels really nice. This is definitely a more hydrating, glowy serum. It has your typical L-ascorbic acid hot dog water scent, which at this point, after so many years, it doesn't bother me. Hydration is always such an important step for me in skincare, but I have to say my skin has not been feeling that dehydrated lately, which is strange because I'm always used to needing so much hydration in my routine, and now it just doesn't really absorb or sink in. That's how I can tell. So there are a few hydrating serums that I have on rotation that I love, and it really depends on what my skin feels like it wants that day. Strangely, I haven't been reaching as much for a hydrating toner as I usually do, but I mean, there's no real reason for that other than, you know, this is just what I'm preferring right now. Niod's MMHC, which at this point is always going to be on rotation for me. It's kind of like an icon of hydrating serums, but what I've really been loving recently is from Klairs, their Immersion Serum. This serum is hydration plus it's not as simple or targeted a formula. This has so many of my favorite ingredients in it that just really nourish and support the strength of your skin barrier and good skin health. There's beta-glucan, there's niacinamide. They also have natural moisturizing factors in here, peptides, some beautiful medicinal adaptogen extracts. There's no scent to this at all. It has a beautiful, almost gel-like texture to it that just spreads so nicely on your skin. In fact, a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a lot. You just need one pump for your entire face and your neck. It also absorbs into your skin really quickly and dries down, leaving a really kind of smooth texture. There's no heaviness, there's no stickiness, there's no residual feeling at all. So when I know I'm going to be spending time outdoors, I actually like to add an additional antioxidant serum. I don't think I can have enough antioxidants in my routine. I've said this before, but I do not plan on oxidizing. These serums actually pair so well with and complement an L-ascorbic acid serum. And with the addition of sunscreen, forget about it. These also have a weightless texture that really disappears on your skin, so you don't feel like you have an extra layer. Great for layering, and you know, I like using them. For days when I'm spending a lot of time outdoors and I know I'm getting a lot of exposure, not just to sun, but all the other elements, exhaust, dust, pollution, whatever, I go for NIOD's Survival Zero. It is probably one of the most potent antioxidant serums around. The texture of this is so interesting to me because it starts out like an emulsion, and as you're applying it actually feels really nice on your skin, and it feels like it would be moisturizing, but then it just kind of sinks in, dries down, disappears, and there's nothingness. So it's a great protective invisible layer. And for the less intense days, again from Klairs, I'm just so loving their Symmetry Fluid, their anti-pollution serum. This focuses more on natural antioxidants, so really antioxidant-rich fruit extracts, plant extracts. It sits in a base of green and white tea. This also has some C derivatives, vitamin E, superoxide dismutase, but mainly it's so full of beautiful antioxidant-rich plant extracts and oils. This texture also initially comes out like an emulsion, which makes it so comfortable to apply on the skin, but then it just sinks in, dries down, and disappears. Things have really changed for me in the moisturizer department because nowadays my skin doesn't feel like it needs all that much moisturizer, especially when I'm going out there and wearing a mask all the time. It's just too much. So my moisturizers lately have been of the very lightweight kind that usually is great for like oilier skin types. There are many days where my next and final step would just be using a moisturizing sunscreen and we're good. But on the days when I do want to use a moisturizer, there are two that I've been really loving. Paula's Choice Water-Infusing Electrolyte Moisturizer is one of my favorite new moisturizer discoveries. This is so unique, but also so good and absolutely perfect for the summer. The texture is the biggest surprise, and it's hard to explain, but it's a little magical. So it comes out like a cream, but as you apply it, it turns into just a hydration bomb. It is lightweight, and it's hydration that just kind of stays on your skin. This also sits so beautifully under makeup because it leaves your skin so smooth in texture and soft and really nicely sort of plumped out, all the lines and everything. Another moisturizer I've also really been enjoying is this one from Kosmetic Immunity, their Ceramide Protective Cream. This brand is all about its beta-glucan. For me, I feel like any moisturizer with a formula that has beta-glucan and ceramide, I'm gonna be using it. This also has allantoin, a lot of ingredients that are just so soothing and good for your skin. But also the texture of this is really lovely. It will moisturize your skin, but it is such a lightweight, silky, elegant kind of texture that just does not feel, it feels light. It also absorbs beautifully, so there's no uncomfortable sort of greasiness or oiliness on your skin. It's just, everything about it is just so lovely. For eye cream, I've been really loving this one from Medicate, their Illuminating Eye Balm. So this is an eye brightening formula. This is really lightweight, so it's not like heavily moisturizing, which is actually good for right now. It is more about just brightening up the area around your eye. It does lightly moisturize, which is great. It's protecting of the skin around your eyes, and you can tell from the color, this does brighten it. It does neutralize any kind of, darker discoloration around the skin. Not so much that it's like a concealer, but it neutralizes it enough that there's less of a contrast or a difference. So I don't even really need concealer most of the time. This has some hydrators, some soothing ingredients, antioxidants, but I just really love how smooth it makes the area under your eyes. So for sunscreens, I will be uploading very shortly my favorite sunscreens video for this year. There are some really, really good ones that I've been loving. I mentioned that there are days where I will just use a moisturizing sunscreen instead of a separate moisturizer and a separate sunscreen. And for days like that, when I just want to pop out and run quick errands, I've been loving Black Girl Sunscreen SPF of 30. This is a chemical sunscreen that does not have octinoxate or oxybenzone, but this is a very moisturizing formula that is clear, sheer, no cast, no nothing, and it's just really great for that purpose. Today I need something not as moisturizing because I do have moisturizer on, so I'm going to use this new one from Klairs. Their Midday Blue UV Shield. This is an all-mineral sunscreen. This has an SPF of 50, PA of 4 pluses. This is a reformulation of their previous mineral sunscreen, which was too casty for me, like I couldn't even wear it. I've mentioned in previous skincare routines that I like to apply my sunscreen in 2 layers so it doesn't feel like I'm applying so much at once, and it just ensures that I'm getting it evenly all over my face. So I'll apply the first layer, and I feel like you can actually use a fair amount because the texture is so light and hydrating, and it absorbs really, really well. This also doesn't pill at all. Sits really nicely under makeup. In fact, I feel like this is great for anyone who has like normal to oily skin. Like this dries down to a more velvet finish on the skin, but it's not, you know, you don't really, it's so light, you just don't feel it like that extra layer. So since when I'm going outside, I do wear a mask that covers most of my face, and my mask has like 3 layers of thick fabric and a filter inside. Nothing is getting through that mask, but I will apply my second layer over the unmasked areas of my face. So my forehead, my nose, and just around my upper cheeks. It is so hydrating. It also has guaiacylene in it, as well as some other beautiful plant extracts, but the guaiacylene is what gives it that beautiful blue tint to it, and it's just so calming and soothing for the skin as well. It's always a plus for me. On me, I don't get a white cast when I use this, but I can see the potential for one. For lips, I love the Fresh Sugar Hydrating Lip Balms anyway, but I've been really loving the Blood Orange. There's just this very slight tint of color, which for me, it just makes me look a little more human. It's a very subtle Your Lips But Better, but this formula is just, I mean, it's just so nice. It never really fails. A new lip balm that I'm really quite obsessed with, and I try not to use too often because I treasure it so much. So you're definitely gonna see this in my evening routine, but it is Beneath Your Mask's Remedy Conditioning Lip Balm. This is just so beautiful and lush and rich, and it has the most glorious scent to it. It smells like yuzu. There is actually yuzu in here, and it even tastes like yuzu, but it's just the flavor. Like there's no sweetness, sometimes sickly sweetness with some other lip balms, but there's none of that. It's just like the subtle flavor that drifts into your mouth. But also it's so calming. It's got like, you know, chamomile and some lavender, and it just makes me really relaxed when I use this. So that's it. That's my summer morning skincare routine. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye.